All right, hi. So for this video, you're actually not going to see me, at least for this first little portion. This video is going to be my letter poem. This is something I had written um, a few years ago for my creative writing class in school, and we had a choice to write like an elegy, a letter poem, and or like a few other kinds of poems because this is our poem unit. And I chose to write, as you can see, a letter poem. And this poem, I I actually am most proud of. This is like throughout my high school career, one of the things I think is my best piece of written work, like of anything. Better than anything I ever wrote freshman year, any other thing in sophomore year, and anything from last year. So I'm going to read it real quick. And then I will talk through, I think maybe line by line or something like that. Um, like what this all is and my inspiration and all that kind of stuff. So to this and this first little bit that this sister I never had is not actually part of the poem, but it's just like a little note I guess I wrote. So yeah, to the sister I never had. Dear Zoe, how come you never came to be? To have almost gotten another sister, one who might look like me. To have almost gotten another sister, one who would understand me completely. And a buddy to celebrate our special day together. You would have been my partner in crime. Not literally, but maybe once on a dime. Competing for our parents' attention, lots and lots of attention. We would be like Fantasia, though not exactly. We would be sisters like Fantasia, but more differently. Our strengths, our weaknesses, our good days, our bad days. My birthday, your birthday. We'd embrace wholeheartedly, fully and completely. Your personality might have differed from mine. So would your style. Our family would have been the same. So would what was important to us. And to wrap it all up fully, my plan for the future, my best plan for the future, is to hopefully have a daughter and name her Zoe, Eliana. So I'm gonna now, that was a poem. I'm gonna now break it down line by line or maybe in pairs, depending on like how closely related each line is or not. So, dear Zoe, the this is a letter poem, so I wrote it like I was addressing to someone, and dear Zoe, like dear, and then usually put the name. Anyways, the name Zoe. Also, the spelling of the name Zoe. There's a lot of different ways to spell Zoe. Zoey, Zoe. There's just a lot of ways to spell Zoe. I chose this specific ways because I actually had a time in my life when I was adopted from China. My parents were actually trying to adopt another girl as well. And they told me that they were going to name her Zoe. So that's why I chose the name Zoe to address this letter poem to. Yeah. And they told me what the spelling would have been. And the spelling would have been Zoe. So that's why I didn't do Zoey or Zoey. I chose Zoe because that's how my parents would have spelled her name as well. How come you never came to be? This was, um, actually, I'll do this. I'll highlight it as we go. How come you never came to be? This line is because, like I said, my parents were going to adopt another girl from China. The second adoption didn't go through. I was the first one, and then Zoe would have been the second one. Now, our names had already been picked. I was always going to be Eliana. She was always going to be Zoe. But that second one, Zoe, never happened. So I don't have another sister named Zoe. Um, yeah, because it just didn't go through. To have almost gotten another sister. I have a sister already. Um, Zoe would have been my second sister. So that's what that line is. One who might look like me. because I'm adopted and I'm the only person in my family who's adopted, Zoe, who would have been adopted the same place I was adopted from, and also would have been Chinese. So, um, yeah, no one else in my family looks like me. She would have. To have almost gotten another sister, same as the last one. I do have another sister, but not one who's also adopted. One who would understand me completely. This is this is me. This to me means that how like people can say, "Oh, I get it," or "Oh, I've been through it," or "Oh, I know what you mean," or "I know how it feels," or "I must know how," that kind of stuff. Most times it's said out of sympathy, and people don't actually know what it is. Like when I say that things about my adoption and stuff, people are like, "Oh, I get it." Like, it's hard not being able to see people who you've never seen in your life. But everyone is different. Like, even if it is the same exact thing, it's never going to be the exact, like, it's got to be pretty spectacular to be the exact same. But, you know, my family understands that it's difficult for me sometimes on certain holidays. But they don't really know how difficult it is for me. Because, sure, they know that I was adopted because they adopted me. Sure, they know that I might not even get to see my biological family again. But they don't understand that, like, they all know their biological family. I don't. And so it's like kind of I understand or we understand that's like to me that's like we understand that you're going through a rough time, but it's not the understand of we understand that you're grieving something you'll never get or you'll never get to see or that you might never get to experience. So that's what that's about. Because like if the adoption hadn't gone through, I would have had another sister who was also adopted. And when I did say, like, I have a hard time, I got you today, I would actually have someone who knows exactly what I'm feeling because they would have gone through it too. But that isn't the case. All right. And a buddy to celebrate our special day together. Special day together being our gotcha day. And I've discussed in past videos what my gotcha day is the day I was adopted. Um, and that would have been my other adopted. That would have been my adopted sister. That's what the whole buddy is. The buddy and the adopted sister, and then special day is gotcha day. Having someone else to celebrate my gotcha day with, so that wouldn't just be me, because it's a bittersweet day. You would have been my partner in crime. This would be um, like I sometimes when I was younger, I liked to, and I still do sometimes, occasionally, like to try and talk my parents into getting me something from the store, even if it's totally unnecessary. I'm like, can we get this mango? And it's totally unnecessary. And like, if I have a little bit of backup, being like, please, can you get the mango? Like that kind of stuff. Um, just like thinking of the more realistic things that could have happened. Not literally, but maybe once on a dime. So, not literally meaning about the crime bit, like not literally committing crime. Um, but maybe once on a dime, that's just like a figure speech, something like that I used because this is for a creative writing class, so I had to put some stuff in here. So, yeah. Competing for our parents' attention. Because since, okay, being adopted, it's to me personally, now, I wouldn't hold this against every adopted person and be like, this isn't the same for you. Why are you also like, why are you saying different than this adopted person? Like, not everyone feels the same way about this kind of stuff. Um, I could be wrong, but I don't think everyone has the same opinion about this. Um, Especially because I do have two older siblings who are my parents' biological kids. Um, because being adopted, like, there are already people in my, and I